The magnitude of the columns and the rock face are unbelievable. Very impressive. Check out this. Good morning, everyone. It's Mark Wiens with migrationology.com. We're going to be spending the entire day exploring Petra. But before we go, we're going to have a big breakfast here at the hotel. I have a little bit of an obsession with za'atar, which is the thyme herb blend with sesame seeds. And so I got an omelet, and then I also got some chili sauce here on the side. Put that over here. Take a big bite of this omelet. I love that aroma of that za'atar. Za'atar is just a wonderful thing. Got a bowl of ful, which is mashed fava beans to go with that. And I sprinkled this with some cumin. Yeah, ful never fails. Next plate, I got a bunch of nuts and some fruit, and I had to get another one of those roasted tomatoes. Those roasted tomatoes are awesome. Walnuts, there are sunflower seeds and sliced almonds. I'm just gonna take a full spoonful of nuts. It's a little bit after 8 a.m. We are now at the entrance gate of Petra, just getting our tickets, and we're about to start hiking. But before we enter the park, I need to make a purchase and get some sun protection. This is called a keffiyeh, and it is the local Arabic headdress, and the red and white, and also this pattern is the national color and pattern of Jordan. So I am prepared now to take on Petra. Got the headdress, protection from the sun. It's gonna be a great day. Petra is the holy city of a nomadic Arab tribe called the Nabateans, and they built this Petra as their holy city, and they made a fortune by trade and controlling caravan routes, especially with myrrh and frankincense. And so they would trade around this entire Arabian Peninsula and the surrounding area, and that's how they made their fortune. And when they started getting so rich is when they started thinking about their afterlife, similar to the ancient Egyptians. And so they built this Petra, which is not just a single temple, but it's an entire rock city, as their holy city. And the city of Petra dates back to around 300 BC, and it was in its peak for hundreds of years. Most of Petra is all sandstone, and this is a sandstone wall here. And if you just touch this, you can just feel your hand just sort of grips to it.
Proper to build the arch.
One of the things that I'm always concerned of when walking through a canyon is a flash flood, because if a lot of rain falls somewhere near, all of that water channels into a canyon. And so what's really interesting is that the Nabateans knew how to manage that water, and so they created dams and they created waterways where the water would flow when there would be a potential flash flood.
Hello, Ying.
We have just arrived to one of the most important and one of the most famous landmarks and attractions at Petra and in Jordan. This is actually the tomb of one of the greatest kings of the Nabateans. And it's called the treasury because it was believed that there was some treasure stored in the top, but it's actually a burial tomb. You can see so many different architectural designs, from the Corinthian columns to the Greek influence on the architecture, and then all carved into the rock. And when you are here, even though you're in the middle of a canyon, like a canyon entranceway, to me it almost feels like a city plaza. There are lots of people here, but also just because it's this open space surrounded by canyon walls. You've got the main landmark in the front here, the treasury, and it has like a city center feel to it. We are making a quick break for a cup of coffee. Can't get enough of Arabic coffee. We are taking a little hike now, walking through a cave and up the side of the mountain. Oh, hello.
Hi.
Petra is known as the Rock City because it's built in rock, but there are also a couple of other names for the city. One of them is the Red Rose City because of the red rocks, but the name that I really like is the Lost City. And what's really fascinating to me is that the whole city was built, but then it became deserted. And during the time it was deserted, it was covered in sand, and so it became lost. And it wasn't until the year of 1812 when a Swiss explorer came and he rediscovered Petra. So to think that it was all covered in sand for 1,000 years is fascinating. We are getting a lookout view now of the amphitheater. You can see it down below there. It is just amazing how it is carved out of rock.
Not too much.
Ying. Welcome to our rock house.
Rock house, you let it?
Yeah, I can take it.
Thank
If
you.
you want to come up. We're walking up some stairs on a rock leading to a series of what's called the royal tombs. Oh, as soon as you step into this tomb, you can feel the cold air coming from it. Later in the day, we are gonna hike to that point over there. Right there. This is a really cool tomb behind me because you can really get a sense of how it is carved right out of the rock mountain. And you can see the top of the mountain up there and then just carved right out of it. There are a number of different restaurants within the archaeological city, so we have just stopped for lunch. We're at a place called the Basin Restaurant, and it's all buffet style. They have a bunch of different salads and some main dishes, and this is the dish that we actually ate yesterday called magruba, and it's rice with chicken and then all those aromatic spices. Yeah. It's nice and aromatic, and again, you can really taste that chicken broth. Some beef stew.
This is everyday Jordanian meat.
Now I'm having a big salad course. Lots of vegetables. There's onions and tomatoes and green peppers and olives and cabbage. And I just kind of mixed everything up together. And there's hummus somewhere below here. Oh yeah, there it is. Salad is wonderful. Chase that with a pickle. That is salty and sour. Lunch is over. We're now taking an afternoon hike to the monastery. Shukran.
Thank you.
We're just walking up the mountain, and one of the vendors who has a shop here has given us a cup of tea. That is the Jordanian Bedouin hospitality. We have made it to the top ridge here, hiking for probably about 45 minutes or so. 1,000 steps up, and I'm not even sure what we're gonna see here, but we're about to find out. We made it to what is called the monastery, And originally it was also a tomb, and it looks very similar to the treasury, but it's actually 3 times bigger than the treasury. The reason that it's called the monastery is because after it was a tomb, it was then occupied by a Christian chapel. We are hiking above the monastery, and the viewpoint is going to be called the Top of the World viewpoint, which they say is one of the best viewpoints in Petra. We are walking on a road, and we are about to pass through a gate which was built by the Romans about 800 years ago. The Romans came to Petra and they started building on the existing construction, including the main roadway which runs right through the middle of Petra. We have just about made it out of the canyon and out of Petra. We're heading back to the hotel, and then in a couple hours we're gonna have dinner. For dinner tonight we're at a restaurant called Alcantara, which means arch. And this is a restaurant that's in a stone structure, but it sort of has a Bedouin theme to it. We are starting off with another fantastic looking spread of the meze dishes, and also having a cup of Arabic coffee as well. And I'm gonna get started on these salads. Peel apart this piece of bread. My first bite has to be this dip right here in the center, and it looked to me, at first I thought it was baba ganoush or mutabal made with roasted eggplant, but it's actually made with zucchini, which is it made into a dip, and then there's some olive oil on it. Let me scoop up some of that. That's fantastic. It's salty, it's creamy, it has a roasted flavor to it. Definitely some chilies in there as well. That's awesome. And next up, I'm gonna take a bite of this tabbouleh. And tabbouleh is a parsley salad with there should be some Bulgar wheat in here as well, the little white things, and then tomatoes and lemon juice. I love the refreshing taste of all of that parsley. It's so refreshing and so it tastes cleansing actually. Gotta take hummus as my next bite. That's a really good hummus. Oh yeah. It's so smooth. And then finally this one is mutabal with eggplant. So this is it's like pureed roasted eggplant with some spices and seasonings and tahini. That's one of my favorites. Oh, so creamy and silky with a roasted eggplant flavor, a little bit garlicky, and also you can taste that olive oil.
This is called idre, which means pot. Well, you see the upside thing is just the method we need to do. Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
The upside down is because it's cooked in a pot.
It's just the method, yeah. It's just because you have the meat layer and you want to...
Oh, okay. Oh.
Fadia?
Can we get a smell of it? But along with the rice dish, we also have a special treat because the owner of this restaurant, he is a fisherman and he just came back from fishing and got some fresh Jordanian fish.
From the Mujib River or the Mujib Dam.
He marinated it in a blend of spices and garlic and then deep fried. So, fresh fish, one of my favorite things, and this will be my first fish in Jordan. I'm gonna squeeze on a little bit of lemon, and then I just gotta go in for that top nugget of fish right there. Oh, you can actually see how moist it is, that fish. Oh, wow. That is awesome. It is so moist and flaky on the inside, while just being encrusted in a crunchy, maybe lightly battered outer casing. Now, first of all, you can just taste the freshness of that fish. It has zero fishiness, and that is just,
Absolutely.
oh, that is fantastic. Put some of this onto my plate. I'm like blown away how good that fish is, and how fresh and perfectly spiced it is. Let me get one more chunk of lamb. Okay, get some of that. Oh, that lamb is so tender as well. Just with my spoon, it just falls apart. Okay, lamb, some chickpeas, and rice. That lamb is spoon tender. For my next bite, I'm gonna get some of this yogurt. There are very finely shaved or julienned cucumbers in here as well. Mix this with the rice and lamb. That fish is unbelievable, but the lamb is also extremely good. That gives it like a very cooling touch to it. I am loving this meal, and I just want to show you guys how tender this lamb is. Fall apart. Oh, look at that. No knife required. Oh, that just slips. Not only is it so tender, but it's extremely tasty and fragrant. Oh. I want to say a big thank you to Fadi, who has been our guide for this entire Jordan trip, and he was a wealth of knowledge at Petra today, and he showed us some secret spots. So big thank you to Fadi, and also big thank you to the Jordan Tourism Board for inviting us here. Yeah, Petra was amazing. And thank you all very much for watching this video. Please remember to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and also make sure you subscribe for lots more food and travel videos, and I'll see you on the next video. And this is the dish that we actually ate yesterday, the same dish called muglaba.
Magluba.
Magluba. Oh man. Magluba, okay.